Welcome back, Superstar. I am here with Phil M. Jones, my friend. He's a colleague. And you can see that we have some books here in the middle, and that's because we are going to talk about books. Phil has launched a book that has sold over 1.4 million copies worldwide. And I wanted him to tell us, what does it take to launch a successful book and sell 1 million copies of a book? So here we are. We're going to talk about this, and he actually has already figured out what the steps are. I saw him present about this at NSA. So where do you want to start?
Where do we start with this? Where do we start with this? Is books are hard. I think people often think that you just launch a book and all of a sudden everything's easy, and there are a gazillion courses out there in the world as to how you can reach a bestseller status, etc. But there are very few people that have reached almost a perennial bestseller status, something that stands the test of time, right? We can get the short-term badge of honor that says Amazon bestseller in micro category of, like that
for an hour on the day of launch, right?
And you can choose that game to play, right?
Sure.
That is fine. That is fine.
No judgment.
But before we get into like how you can be more successful with a book as a long-term piece of your business system and a long-term success strategy, I think it's worth remembering that there are two types of books, particularly in the personal development space. One is like a big idea book, which is that you've got this big new concept that you want to launch into the world, and whether that's a good to great or a 4-hour work week or something that's like you're looking to revolutionize the way that people think with a big idea.
Okay.
And if it's not a big idea book, it's a proven method book.
Okay.
So something that is you've worked for a while, something you've refined through workshops, deliveries of speeches, deliveries of training, you've written about the subject, that you're a true thought leader about this thing that you're looking to bring to work. So the big idea book is roll the dice, cross your fingers.
Okay.
And you can have huge success with that, but typically if you can plug into an existing distribution system, and by which I mean that if a publisher's going to write you a 7-figure check to write a big idea book, then share the risk with them, right? Share the risk with them, and their distribution model may well help you find reaching that. If you've written 7, 8, 9, 10 books, you've got a loyal following, launch a big idea book because you've already got people that are listening.
Okay.
But if you're looking to be able to say, how do you monetize your expertise through a book, you're probably looking at more of a proven method book. You're looking at something that you're starting to document, something you know that's worked. Why that's important is you've already done a giant part of the editing of this before you even put pen to paper because you've been shaping out these ideas through living with it for a period of time.
Okay.
When you decide to take your proven method and then put it into a book, 3 big questions you need to know the answer to.
Okay.
One is, who are the people you're looking to help? An emphasis on the word people, because for a book to be able to work in its format, it has to serve multiple little individual layers of groups of people.
Okay.
This isn't about finding your one perfect avatar of saying that's where it's going to go.
Okay.
It's actually being brave enough to say, who are all the people that could benefit from this proven method?
Okay.
And I'd get as specific as possible, and you'll find out why later when we get into the steps. So when I look at a book like Exactly What to Say, and I'm like saying, who's this going to help?
Hold on. He's talking about this book, the 1.4 million.
I wrote it for people who needed to drive better sales results, didn't see themselves as salespeople.
Okay.
But that meant that I got crystal clear on this could help teachers, this could help new entrepreneurs, this could help nurses, this could help financial advisors, this could help mortgage brokers, could help parents, etc. But giant list of who the people are that we're looking to try and help.
So wait, let me interrupt you for a second just to clarify, because we're always talking on this channel about narrowing your focus, finding your niche.
Right.
You're actually saying when it comes time to do this proven method book.
Well, a book to be successful, if what we're looking at is to say how to sell 1 million books, etc., it's not going to find one audience of 1 million people. It's going to find 1,000 audiences of 1,000 people.
Okay.
So what you've got to get clear on is how do you get it towards all those different groups? And you've got to start with some clarity that this isn't how do I find my perfect avatar who's going to book my program.
Right.
This is more about saying how do I create a tool that I can release into the wild and would run like wildfire.
So what we're talking about here, just to be clear, is how to sell 1 million books.
Yeah.
You want to go big. And maybe if you're doing something very narrow and focused, it's to sell $1 million from the programs on the backside of the book.
Well, you probably don't want a book.
Right.
It probably doesn't need to live in a book, right?
Okay.
If this is a tool that could be of value towards showcasing your expertise to 13 people, don't go through the effort of creating a book.
Okay.
is...
Go big or go home, all right?
Right.
Did you hear that?
Is if it's meant to be a book,
Yeah.
and you want it to be a book, deliver it in the format that it can be consumed by many. Otherwise, choose to do something else.
Okay.
Choose a video course. Choose to be able to do a training program. Stick it in a giant binder. I don't care. Do something else with it.
Okay.
Other than a method that is meant for mass production.
Okay.
Once you've got clear on the different types of people it can help, but no, they're all going to sit with huge similarity to it, you then get crystal clear on the second question, which is what is the problems it's going to help these people solve?
Okay.
Because otherwise you get so focused on your proven method, you forget to be able to have consideration to how that method's going to help that person achieve that person achieve that person achieve that. Why this is essential for you is you can't edit your book without these lenses. Because you have a responsibility to say, will this help these people achieve blank? Will it help these people achieve blank? Will it help these people achieve blank? So you've got to do that work ahead of time. And then the third, probably most important question, probably the most important question of all, is how are you choosing to measure success of this book?
Okay.
Because I can talk towards what you need to do to sell a book that has 1 million copies, but you might measure success differently. So this is my children's book right here, right? Success of my children's book was the day I received my first copy.
Oh.
So I had no intention of this being a runaway bestseller. I was not looking at this book being able to change the world other than my world, to be able to document it and sit and do story time with my, what were 2-year-old twins at the time.
Okay.
That was the victory in that book. So you get to choose what success looks like.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a big lofty goal. It can just be something that matters to you. So decide which game you're playing.
Okay.
Is it Amazon bestseller and you want that badge of honor? Are you looking to be able to say at my bio, when I'm looking to speak more or coach more, it says author of? Is that a peg in the board you're looking for? Do you want this to be a long-term revenue stream? Do you want this to be something that is a legacy piece? Is this punctuation between you moving from one piece of your work to a new body of work, and it gives you permission to be able to say, oh, you can read this in my book, you can read this in my book, because you don't want to coach or train or consult on it anymore.
Interesting.
So you've got to choose the game that you're playing, because otherwise you can't define success. Right, we're going to talk about how to sell 1 million books, but you can decide the success of your book is way lower than that.
Yeah.
Has a load of other different metrics on it.
Okay.
But knowing the game that it would take to be able to go the longer journey is probably more important. But in terms of setting up before we get into the 10 steps, I think it really is that simple and that hard. Is are you launching a big idea book or a proven method book?
Okay.
If you're launching a big idea book, get a distribution partner.
Got it.
Somebody that's going to help you get this idea out to the world. If you've got a proven method book, understand the fact that you're the best and the only person in the world that's going to be able to write that, and you already did 2/3 of the editing before you get to that point. Before you put pen to paper, get crystal clear on who the people are that you're looking to help, what are the problems it's looking to solve for them, and slice that like as many different ways as you possibly can, because now you're choosing your audience, right?
Yeah.
You pick the audience ahead of time instead of the audience being you, and then look at multiple levels of success and say, what does winning look like in this book to me, and get clear on that again before you bring it to market. Because otherwise you're looking for a successful book launch, but you didn't decide what success looked like ahead of time, which means you're almost certainly guaranteed to fail.
I love that. All right. Thank you so much, Phil. That was a fantastic conversation. I hope you checked out all 3 or 4, I don't even know how many videos that were in this series, all about how to launch a successful book and sell at least 1 million copies.
Or as many as you would like. How about that? As many as you would like, even if it's 6 or 60 million. I'm pretty sure that this kind of roadmap or blueprint might help you get a touch closer.
All right, I love it.
When I moved to the US from the UK in 2017, I thought, well, I've got to launch a new book. It's going to help with my speaking business, move me from a global speaker to a North American speaker, give the bureaus something to be able to talk about. I'm like, got to write a new book, got to write a new book, got to write a new book, and went, you idiot.
You've got a book.
Right. I had other books going on, and we've done other books in the past as well, but I'm like, why don't I just rewrite this book properly?